Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
Welcome. This is not going to be the interview with Jason today. Unfortunately, if that is what you're tuning in for, I apologize. I am Gazbot. This is Action Activate, and with me, of course, as always,
I am the Big Dog Defender. As he said, we're not going to have Ninja Steel, Samurai, Green,
what?
or
Not Ninja Steel.
All wrong. Ninja Storm.
I'm taking Ninja Steel point for that. Yeah.
But yeah, Gazbot and I were already meeting up. We figured, hey, if you guys are here to chat and see us ramble per usual, then we're here. We are, in fact, for the people.
We are for the people, yeah. But just real quick, with Jason, he had some personal stuff going on. Nothing major. Everything's fine. You know, don't worry. But it was just like he was running late, and I was talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm having these issues." And I'm like, "Do you want to just reschedule?" And he's like, "Yes, could we please?" So, you know, he would have jumped on late, but we thought it'd be better just have a nice, relaxing time. Let him sort his stuff out. Now, it won't be next week because we're not having a show. I have a show I have to do as an artist, a Godzilla event, so I won't be able to do a show next week. It might be the week after, but that is not set in stone whatsoever. TBD. But we are talking to Jason to try to find a new time for that. So we have nothing planned right now. This is impromptu Q&A and or just saying hi, sorry, bye-bye. And for anybody watching live, and I don't see anybody chatting right now, so either everybody left when Jason didn't show up after 20 minutes, or I did say actually he's not going to show up, so everybody left after that. But I'm still going to leave this up on the Facebook page and the various places so that people are like, well, you know, there was supposed to be an episode this week and there's nothing, you know. So if you weren't there, now you know what happened. The interview didn't happen. This is us there.
If you didn't know, now you know.
That's true. Oh, I do see some chat coming up.
Hey, Adam. Hey, Matt.
Hello, both of you. Yeah, like I said, as far as I know, nothing serious bad happened to Jason, but just something that he couldn't make it on time, and we're like, why force it? Let's just do it another day.
The good news is next week, even though there isn't an Action Activate show, there is the Hasbro Fan Fest.
Yes,
or Fan First. What fan?
Hasbro
with an F.
The Ranger Nation.
Yeah, Power Rangers stuff on Friday, May 14th. Yeah. Which rumor has it they're going to announce another series.
Interesting, yeah. And will that be the animated show? Will it be a more mature show? Will it be an animated show that is more mature, which would be my preference?
Yes.
And it doesn't have to go Invincible levels of mature.
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, Invincible, like the timing of it was so soon. I'm like, these decisions were already made, but Invincible is so great and did so well. I'm like,
yeah, but Power Rangers could still do well, but I don't think it needs to get as graphic as Invincible does.
That's not what.
But it could just be like PG-13, you know, like the kind of stuff we always talk about, like, you know, just why don't they make it a little bit more mature? Why don't they have the stakes be a little bit higher? That kind of stuff. Yeah. I feel like that's not what they're going to announce, but hey, I hope to be wrong. The other thing is, and I haven't looked into this. Okay, two things. One, people are seeing in hand, what is it, Wave 6, Wave 7, Wave 9? I don't even know what the numbers are. The new Lightning collection that has the Tenga and SPD Green, people have in hand now. I ordered mine from Hasbro Pulse, so I'll get them 3 months after everybody else.
Yeah, I think you'll get them by Christmas, hopefully.
Yeah, there you go. But more of a rumor is that there are going to be possibly multiple crossovers from other Rangers showing up. They're not talking about a full team thing, but like, and I hate to talk about it because it's a little bit spoilery, but it's not confirmed and there are no names. But apparently, it's just who's the guy who talked about Power Rangers season 2 of Dino Fury going to Netflix first? Was that the Black Ranger? Oh, do you not know about this either? Am I more up on Power Rangers news than you? That never happened.
I was going to bring that up.
Think forward a little bit.
Sorry. I know that rumor, and I was going to bring it up when you were done with this if you didn't bring it up. I don't remember where I saw it. The good news is I didn't see it from Illuminati because it seems like anytime something comes out from Illuminati, it just creates more problems than it creates hype, where everybody argues about the Illuminati and not what's being discussed.
Unfortunately, I agree, and it's unfortunate because like I don't have a particular problem with Illuminati, and they could be saying everything correct and right. Like I don't know, and I hope not, but I don't. As of now, I have no issue with them or anybody involved with them. But I agree that when they release stuff, it's a controversy. So it's no. My understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, either in chat or later, people watching this video later, but the actor who plays the Black Ranger on Dino Fury was in some sort of interview or some sort of live whatever, and he said he's the one that was like, oh yeah, well right now it's on Nickelodeon, and the next season it'll be on Netflix. And so everyone's like, what? Because like if that's true and he knows it, he shouldn't be saying because it's not official announcement. Yeah. I thought he meant like the way it's gone before, where first it's on Nickelodeon, then it'll be rebroadcast on Netflix. So he meant like next year season 1 will be on Netflix. Other people took it the other way, so it's not confirmed. But people are like, did he slip up? Okay, listen, here we go. Matt Kendall-Clare, yep, it was the Black Ranger for Dino Fury. Chance Perez, I think, is a real name for the Netflix thing. Yeah, so he definitely said something like that. It's just open interpretation what he meant, if that was true. But someone else, and I think it might have been him again, although I didn't see the video myself, similar thing where they were in some kind of interview talking about the show or whatever, which is weird because I thought in the past it seemed like the actors on the current season couldn't talk. Yeah,
that was my understanding too.
But maybe it's just like it's the future is marching on, and these guys are just like on Instagram. Here, Instagram Live.
Hasbro lets them now when they didn't for Beast Morphers because who knows?
Yeah, because a lot of those Beast Morphers actors are all over the place now, doing interviews and at comic shops and stuff. Whereas previously you didn't see that. So yeah, I don't know. The only thing I could think is that it wasn't an officially sanctioned thing. But anyway, I'm not even 100% sure it was him. But somebody said something to the effect of like, oh yeah, it's going to be great. There's going to be all kinds of actors and older characters coming back. And the person was like, oh, like OG characters? What do you mean? And he's like, and kind of maybe like at that point realized he said too much or didn't, like, I don't know. So it's again, unconfirmed, but.
I mean, he also, his out, which I think I would have taken was he should have just brought up the last episode that aired for the mid-season finale of like, oh, look, an old character. That's what it meant, didn't
But I don't, I mean that, but I don't think that's.
No, I know.
The way
he definitely slipped. I'm saying that would be the way to try to fix it.
That's true, but I think the verbiage that was used, and again, this is all like second, third hand, so do your own research. But I think the verbiage that was used said something like, it wasn't like a new face, it was like several or multiple or so. Yeah, here's the thing. I hope it's true, obviously. No matter who's coming back, no matter how many's come back, always fun times. Especially if, the rumors that this is the last season, hopefully not, but if it is, get everybody in you can before it's over. But it is that thing of like, oh, it would be so much more fun for them to just show up and not know. But in the world we're living in, it's impossible. I am the one who's like, I don't want to look at any spoilers ever, not paying attention. And yet I find out every single thing before it happens anyway.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I would say the only interesting thing about it, and this is why, like, I'm skeptical of it. Not saying that whoever said it was wrong, but like, it would make more sense if we didn't just have all the seasons ripped from Netflix.
Going up on YouTube. Oh, I'm sorry. You mean it going on Netflix? Yes, it would make more sense, especially because that was my thought too. Is that it seems like they're moving away from Netflix, but there was probably a deal already in place. That's why like some seasons are still on there. Like, and like because certain contracts expire different times. And so I assume there was some deal in place that regardless of what happens in the future, Dino Fury was going to be rebroadcast on Netflix, and that was already in place.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I'm looking forward to the next episodes whenever we get them. Hopefully it's not like 6 months like
last time. It's going to be fall. I mean, isn't that what happened last time?
Who knows, though? 2021 is a different year.
Can you take a look at chat? I'm going to look up this Chance Perez thing.
Gao Yang, good to see you back. Thank you. Matt Kendall-Clare agrees with a lot of the statements, and then Adam Catcher agrees with previous statements we've made that there's no need for J-Borg.
Yeah, unfortunately. Again,
I am an OG. I feel like I say this every season where there's like a character that early on I'm like, I don't like them. And you're like, I don't know.
Here's the thing. I didn't like him either, but I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And like, although I will say in preparation for the interview with Jason Chan that has been postponed, I was looking at Cybercam, which was another Android character who, again, it suffers from that. Where do they have the technology for this? But it bothered me less because he's this secret ninja super scientist in a base and like magic and like, okay, fine, somehow. But Cybercam was like a goofy robot character that was fine. Like it didn't bother me. It was like, it was competent, but just like, yeah, it was doing what they wanted to do in a better way, which is funny too, because, this is weird to say considering who our guest was going to be. Ninja Storm isn't one of my favorite seasons. And part of why it isn't one of my favorite seasons is because of some of the bad comedy, especially with Lothor. But Cybercam wasn't part of the bad comedy that bothered me.
Yeah.
That was fine. So
yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it was the first full Disney season. There was a lot of learning. But I mean, we'll dive more into it when we do talk to Jason. But I'm with you. I liked it. I didn't love it. It's definitely not my like top 10 or anything. But
that'd be interesting. Did we ever do that? Do we ever rank our seasons? We did the theme songs. I can't remember if we did the seasons or not.
We didn't do the seasons.
We didn't because I hadn't seen them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still am 1.5 behind.
So if you had to pick 3 seasons right now in no particular order that are your top 3, what would they be?
RPM, Jungle Fury, and then the third one would be the hard one to pick. Those are the 2 that come up super easy. And then there's also the sentimental thing, because like Samurai comes to mind, but in good conscience, I can't say that's one of the top 3 seasons.
Yeah, I know.
I like it sentimentally. I have my own reasons for liking it. I also like Dino Charge a lot too, but neither one of those are top 3.
Yeah.
Like,
that's how I am with Mighty Morphin.
yeah, I mean, Lightspeed always comes to mind as just a really solid season. Oh, In Space too. It would definitely be a Saban era. It would be Lightspeed or In Space, or maybe In Space is such a weird season though, because it starts off kind of not so good, but ends.
I mean,
amazing.
8 episodes in, we get your favorite turtles.
My favorite turtles? Isn't that's 8 episodes in? I thought that was like the 2nd episode.
I don't know. It was early.
But also, those aren't my favorite turtles.
No, I thought they were. I thought you said the next mutation was your favorite set because they got the first female turtle for the time, Venus de Milo, and you said that was your favorite.
You're making a mistake. I see what the issue is. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you're thinking that show has something to do with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't. I mean, that's an easy mistake to make because they are turtles, but beyond that, there's no connection whatsoever. So
got it.
Yeah.
I will say, if a third-party company made figures of those, I would probably get them.
I might. Well, no, because third party would be expensive. Wait, was Adam Catch says we didn't need Ben and Betty, and while annoying, Victor and Monty felt like a good opportunity to surprise the audience. Is actually a gay couple drop. I assumed that they were gay. To be honest, I don't know.
I assumed Monty was.
Wait, which was the nerdy guy?
Victor was.
Yeah, there was a lot of assumption there, but yeah,
I also watched 40% of that series.
I've heard people say that before, that like that would have redeemed. Here's the thing. I don't think that would have redeemed it. I think people might have been happy that they'd have this gay couple in Power Rangers, and that's fine. But I don't think that. And again, this is so weird because I like both of them as performers, but the jokes were just so cartoony, ridiculous, worse than Ben and Betty. So yes, I guess it would explain their relationship more if they, were one or both was infatuated with the other beyond mere friendship. But that wouldn't have saved the characters and their ridiculous antics that defied reason and physics,
What I will say, and this will probably not happen, but if anybody from NerdBot is watching, if you guys could try to reach out to the actor and actress who played Ben and Betty and try to loop them into like Shattered Past or something.
And have a version where they're Rangers. That would be amazing. Actually, that was one of
have their own Oh man, that'd be cool.
That was a question we were going to ask: is if Jason, well, we still will, if he had seen any of that stuff, the first Ninja or any of that stuff, because it would be interesting. If not, so maybe I should send him a link before the end. Well, whatever. That's
I know when he interviewed with Morphin Network, they brought it up, and that was the first he had heard of it, and that was a year and a half ago now. So I know he's aware of it, but whether or not he watched it, I mean, Can
you check chat again? I think we missed some stuff. Yeah.
Let's see. Matt Kendall Clare wasn't a huge fan of Lothor because of the comedy. Adam Catcher says Dino Charge is serviceable, but far from a top 5. Okay. Matt Kendall Clare, 3rd and 4th for the Turtles. Okay. Episode 3 and 4 is what he's saying. And Adam Catcher is doubling down, saying he thought they would reveal in the Ninja Steel finale about Victor and Monty. Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to find the thing. What I'm looking over here, I keep trying to find. I found the stuff about Chance Perez talking about Netflix again. So that he's definitely the one who talked about it. But I'm trying to find the thing where he talked about past Rangers. Maybe he's not the one who said it. Maybe I'm making a mistake. So if anybody in chat knows what I'm talking about, because it just happened like yesterday, the day before, like
it was this week for sure. Matt brought it up that he looked it up and said it was Chance.
No, he said it was him for the other thing, I thought.
For the Netflix thing.
Yeah. I'm talking about the veteran Power Ranger actors coming back. Somebody else said that, and I thought it was the same person, but maybe it was somebody different. But because I'm not sure of my facts, I'm having a hard time even, like, it came up on my feed. I read it, and then now where is it? I don't know.
So SPD would be in your top 5, but not your top 3, it seems like?
SPD.
That's your third?
Yeah, I forgot about SPD.
Okay. I thought you were trying to choose something over SPD. That's why.
I probably should, because I just picked 3 Disney seasons, and I know how controversial that can be. This is not, definitive, because I'd have to like really sit down and think about it. And I haven't seen Mystic Force, and I haven't seen Operation Overdrive all the way through. But I mean, RPM and Jungle Fear are what made me. Okay, so I watched the Power Rangers as a younger person. I don't even want to say a kid, but a younger person. Mighty Morphin and a little bit of Zeo and a couple random episodes here and there.
Yeah.
And then I didn't watch it again until Samurai. And Samurai credits was getting me back into Power Rangers. That along with the new toys coming out. I bought a Green Ranger figure. And then, so I watched, and then Dino Fury has my heart because it was like the first good season after watching Mega Force Super Marvel.
Oh, okay.
What?
Dino Charge, not Dino Fury.
I'm sorry, Dino Charge. Yeah. So that has a special place in my heart too. But when I started going back, before I went all the way back to Mighty Morphin, I just said, well, let me try Jungle Fury. And I was like, this is amazing. And then I watched RPM and I was like, oh, this might be better, but I can't. I still love RPM. So those two, it was like this road of like falling back in love with Power Rangers, and Jungle Fury and RPM were the ones that made me see like, oh, this could be more than, than even like Samurai and Dino Fury was sort of like, this is an updated version of what it used to be. And I can see how it's gotten better and different over the years. And then when I saw those two, I'm like, oh, there are seasons that are very different. This is exciting. I want to watch all of them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of the seasons don't live up to that high bar, with the exception, now that we talked about it, of SPD. But I did really like Speed Rescue. I did like In Space. So I'd have to go back and think. But if you're making me pick right now, then yeah, it's Jungle Fury, SPD, and RPM.
I think it's easier to pick your 3 guilty pleasure seasons than it is your 3 like best/favorite seasons.
What are your top best seasons right now if we're going off of it? Adam Catchers, not sure, but have you guys witnessed it? We don't watch a ton of Sentai, and don't take that the wrong way. It's not like boo Sentai, but I've seen some. I certainly don't try to keep up on it. I know who Two Kaiser is. I know what he looks like. Beyond that, I don't know anything about him. It looks awesome.
This season, from everything I've seen from like toys and stuff, seems like
a lot of fun.
My season.
It looks like a lot of fun. My problem and is theoretically I should just jump on and start watching it, but like I want to go back and watch. Like, this is why I've never watched Gokaiger, even though everyone says it's the best season ever. It's like, oh, but there's going to be all these references to teams and things that I don't get, because I've only watched a handful. I think I've watched more than you, which isn't saying a lot. I've watched all of Zoo Ranger. I've watched about half of Die Ranger. I've watched about half of Go Ranger, the first one.
Yeah.
I've watched all of Akiba Ranger, and I've watched the Go-Go 5. Is it Go-Go V or Go-Go 5? I always forget.
Go-Go 5.
I've watched Go-Go 5 movie. And maybe a couple other random.
Spider-Man.
Well, I've watched about a little more than half of Spider-Man, which is, arguably. Oh, and I did watch some of Uchi Sentai Q Ranger. I watched like the first, 6, 7, 8 episodes of that.
Oh, and Tokyuger.
Oh, I've watched all of Tokyuger, yeah. So, but that's my entire Sentai knowledge. So I feel like watching these super anniversary referential seasons, I should probably just watch it, but I'm not.
See, I've done the opposite. I've watched a handful of Die Ranger, a decent chunk, but not halfway yet, of Akiba Ranger, the Japanese version of the Super Mega Battle, the Go Busters and Koryuger movie, the Koryuger 100 Years Later movie, and the Go-Go 5 movie.
You basically are like, oh, what are the big awesome things?
Yeah, like, what are these? What's the best of? Let's just start there.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is I've been working my way through every Power Ranger season. So I feel like, especially because we do the show and we talk to actors and stuff, I feel like I owe it to everything that's been going on the last 2 years of what we're doing here to get through them. And I just finished SPD, and so now I have Mystic Force and Operation Overdrive to finish. So I guess I feel like guilty if I watch Sentai instead of Power Rangers, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean.
Let me see. Jim. Hello, Jim. Jim says Time Force made me want to rewatch every season to see what I didn't catch this year. Time Force is very good too.
It is.
Time Force for me is I definitely don't like it as much as everyone else does. That doesn't mean I don't like it. That doesn't mean but has a couple things going against it for me. It was one of those ones where I went back to Mighty Morphin and I couldn't wait to get to Time Force. I was like, oh, that's going to be a good one for a few reasons. I think the suits are phenomenal. They're some of my favorite suits.
They're pretty good.
I really like the suit design. So I was like, that's going to be great. And I love time travel. You know, Back to the Future, whatever. Like I love time travel stories. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be awesome suits Power Rangers that time travel. And if you watch the season, they don't really time travel at all. And that really bummed me out. And the other thing is everybody and their brother was like, Time Force is the best. So when I saw it, I'm like, this is good.
Time out.
Yeah.
What did I say about Time Force?
I don't remember anything you said.
I said you would like it. I didn't say it was the best. I just want to be out of
you acknowledge that a lot of people say it's the best season ever. And it is a very good season. It's definitely a higher up season. And I do like most of the characters, and I really like Jen as like the Pink Ranger.
He's by far the best Pink Ranger.
I would agree with that. Yes. Yeah. And there's a lot of great stuff, and I do like Time Force, but it just had a lot going against it for me because it was hyped up and it didn't have time travel, and that annoyed me. And yes, arguably there are like one or two episodes where time travel is involved, kind of, but that's I thought it was time traveling Power Rangers. That's what I thought I was getting.
Yeah.
We got some more chat here. Matt Kennel seen everything Zoo Ranger through some go on. Oh wow, so that's okay. That's a lot. And then Adam says, with the exception of half of Go Buster, I've seen everything from Question. Yeah. So you guys. Yeah, wow. You guys are, your stuff.
we are the grasshoppers. You are the masters here.
Yeah, I'm aware of a lot of Sentai stuff because of toys I've bought or like websites I've seen or things or books, like have a lot of art books and things like that. But I could name most of the teams in their Japanese names, but that doesn't mean I've seen them. You know, I'm not pretending I know.
There's a thing I actually have been contemplating doing the trial and or signing up for, but through Amazon Prime, they have like a Toku channel with like some seasons on there of Kamen Rider and Ultraman and stuff that I've been looking at a little bit.
I've thought about that. I just I don't have the time. I know.
I know that was the only thing holding me back because I have a couple other subscriptions that I don't use very often. Crunchyroll being one of them.
I didn't even get that joke. Time out.
Oh, I didn't even try to make a joke. If I'm being honest,
you did. Well, look at you. You're making bad jokes. You don't even know.
It's a steal. But yeah, it's one of those like the only subscription, and I know I talk about it a lot when I bring up the comic stuff. Comixology Unlimited through Amazon Prime is like my.
We got to get you a sponsorship because you bust into it, and I feel like when I'm listening to podcasts, I'm like, hey, Audible.com. Like,
the thing about it that was unfortunate, like, it depends on who you are, but like you and I are going to groan at the same time so I always look at the new like free stuff that's in the subscription.
Right.
So like all of the Power Ranger comic. And some of the graphic novels are in there. Like, the Time Force one was in there, and I'm like, oh. I'm glad I read it early, but like, oh.
Well, but I don't have that service, so I'm not groaning. I bought it, and there you go. Yeah. But wait, circle back, because you put me on the spot to, like, give my unofficial 3 best seasons, and you never gave yours.
I know, because we've been sidetracked, and every time I start, we're like, let's look at chat. Knee jerk, top 3 would be In Space. My 3 is hard.
I'm gonna give you a one shot. You did this to me.
I know. So here's the thing. It's a toss. It's like it's MFK, but with
What's
Jungle
MFK?
Fury, marry,
go
on a date with and kill. With Jungle Fury, RPM, and SPD.
So you want to have one of those, but not all 3, or not 2?
I need 2 of them, but
so you're saying it's In Space and 2 of those others.
Yeah.
So you have almost the exact same top 3 as I did, because I had those 3 and was considering In Space.
I know. In Space, though, like, so much about it, Did
you watch it when it was on?
Yes.
That's the big difference. Because I love it. I think it's great. But I watched it, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. So
it has some of my favorite designs, some great
I do like that Megazord. That is one of my favorite Megazords.
Well, even like I'm biased
I think the
now.
suits are kind of boring.
I like how simple the suits are. Psychos has Psycho Rangers.
Oh yeah, the Psychos are awesome, but the in space suits themselves are like.
No, I like those. The toys were great, and like as an adult, I like it more too, just because now, like as a kid, I'm like Andros, Red Ranger, and now I'm like TJ, real leader.
yeah.
And then Ecliptor is one of my favorite design villains.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're kind of bringing me around. You're kind of bringing me around.
Dark Honda is the best villain on that season.
But then I guess, it's like, well, this is where I'm like, but is it better than RPM or?
I know, and that's where I'm at. So that one is an auto include for everything I've said, and that's why I'm like,
I'll tell you. I'll give you your answer. I can answer for you. You're gonna get rid of Jungle Fury. You're gonna say RPM and SPD.
But I don't want to.
I know, but for me, Jungle Fury is the auto pick. Yeah. For you, it's not. And as much as I love Jungle Fury, SPD is probably better.
I know SPD is better, but I like Jungle Fury more. Like my three, like this is why I said the three guilty pleasures.
But none of these are guilty pleasures. These are all seasons most people would agree are good.
Well,
guilty pleasure is Samurai.
Mine, and then you will understand. Yours is skewed because you like bad seasons. So Mighty Morphin.
Wait, what?
No, shut up. Mighty Morphin, Wild Force, and Jungle Fury would be my top three guilty pleasure seasons.
How are those guilty pleasure seasons, though?
Because definitively, I know they are not the best, but I have such fond memories as either a child, almost a teenager, or adult watching them that like I go back to certain episodes, but I know I can't like watch the whole season and be like, this is really good.
And you're including Jungle Fury in that?
Jungle Fury is the best out of those three.
But you're saying, because I think Jungle Fury is a good season that has a couple bad episodes. I think Wild Force is also a good season that has maybe more bad episodes, but I think Wild Force is a decent season too. Like
it's decent, but like
I guess when I think of guilty pleasure, I think of like a Ninja Steel or a Samurai or something that people that most people would say that's your favorite. You know what I mean? Like I think most people, if you said Jungle Fury, they're like, all right, that's.
I've gone back to those seasons more than some of my favorites outside of In Space.
Okay, so
I haven't gone back to RPM ever, but it's so good.
Right. So wait. So your actual good top three is In Space, RPM, and
RPM, and
SPD.
SPD is better, but I like Jungle Fury more.
Okay, so you're not giving a really complete answer there. And then your guilty pleasure list is Mighty Morphin, just in general, all the seasons.
Wild
I guess.
Force, yeah.
Wild Force and Jungle Fury.
I would say Mighty Morphin season was 1 and 2.
Okay. And that, so are we count? We'll count that as one pick, or is that two picks?
It is one, but just for the sake of like you all knowing, there were parts of 3 that were all right, but like 2 was really my like prime right before the power transfer. Oof, good stuff.
Okay, so your guilty picks are Mighty Morphin 1 and 2, Wild Force, and Jungle Fury, which means Jungle Fury can't be in your top 3.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Put SPD in there.
All right, so then my guilty 3 is the auto pick is Samurai.
Yes.
I feel like Dino Charge is in there, but let me think a little bit. From Neo Saban, guilty pleasure. Dino Charge is the only other one that would maybe be in there. And then
not Beast Morphers?
Is Beast Morphers a guilty pleasure?
At top. Depends on the
Beast Morphers ended really
Tommy
strong.
Tuba, or are we talking the finale?
Well, it ended really strong, and every season has had clunker episodes. I don't. And also, in all honesty, if I was going to go back like for like comfort food, I would watch Dino Charge before I watch Beast Morphers.
Fair.
Because I watched Beast Morphers a lot. A lot of those I watched twice in a row when we were doing the reviews. And Dino Charge and Beast Morphers ended really strong, but it's not exactly like a lighthearted feel good season. And not that it has, but some of my favorite seasons are. I don't know, but Dino Charge. It's just the Dino theme is fun, and there's a lot of weird stuff, especially when you get into Super. But there's a lot of fun, and Brandon Mejia as Tyler is like such a great Red Ranger. I just like watching him. He's just like
I like him and Coda. They just choose memory.
Yeah, so there's something very comforting about watching Dino Charge. So I before that, let me think. Okay, not Mighty Morphin.
It seems like Lightspeed for you.
But again, I do like Lightspeed, but I don't think that is a guilty pleasure. I feel like it's a good season. But let me keep thinking. I would go back to Zeo before I'd go back to Mighty Morphin, to be honest, because I've only watched that once all the way through, and I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Turbo, I did enjoy more than most people, but I don't think I.
Yeah, I think the only reason Turbo's on your list is because that's where you got TJ.
That's where I got TJ, and also I think it was the opposite of Time Force, where everyone said it was the worst season ever, and I'm like, it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Time Force. Wait, no, In Space. I like Lost Galaxy a lot too.
Lost Galaxy is pretty good.
I guess maybe it would be Lightspeed Rescue, but I hate calling that a guilty pleasure because I don't think. I guess it's more personal favorites as opposed to objectively.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for mine, like I don't know how many times I've gone back and watched Forever Red.
Right.
Like I've said this. Gazbot and I have both admitted for Power Rangers, depending on the season, we both watched it far more than our peers. Like when we hit certain ages, we were the only one. We were the outliers in our demo of people who watch Power Rangers.
Yes, absolutely.
Wild Force was right there, where I was like, in that demo, I should probably stop watching it. And then I watched Forever Red, and I'm like, man, this is why I love this.
What's agreed? Mahir should do more AHS.
American Horror Story.
What?
American Horror Story?
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, I'm sure he would. I'm sure that's not his choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of, he was on an episode of Supergirl, and just recently, Peter Sidarso was.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I didn't see it, but I saw.
I saw that it happened.
Wait, but Brendan was on something else recently, a show that I watched. Crap, I can't remember. But like it was recent. It wasn't like an older thing he did. So then my guilty pleasure is it Lightspeed, Dino Charge, and Samurai. That seems weird. It seems weird to me.
If you go season by season, you're checking them off yourself.
Okay. Time for Lost Galaxy. Lost Galaxy is a strong contender. But then In Space again, I love In Space, but that's not a guilty pleasure? It's
could be for you.
It's not though. Like guilty pleasure has a certain connotation to me.
I know
that like most people would say that's not really that good. It's weird that you like it that much. You know what I mean?
That's fine. Why is it your favorite thing?
Kind of, yeah. Whereas if I told someone my guilty pleasure is In Space, they'd be like, "What?" Like everyone loves In Space.
Like Tron is a good guilty pleasure example.
Maybe,
not for you, but in general.
Well, no, it's a better example than In Space. Well, although you could argue Power Rangers is a guilty pleasure outside of the fandom, people are like, "Oh, I guess you like Power Rangers." I guess that's how Tron is. In the fandom of Power Rangers, it doesn't seem weird to be a fan of Power Rangers. People that like Tron are like, yeah, it's a great groundbreaking movie that's amazing. Who wouldn't like it? So it's a similar thing. But if you don't like Tron, if you haven't seen Tron, then it is like, what? You love that movie?
I like Tron Legacy more than most people I've met in life.
I think it's, for a while it was my favorite like reboot. Like they went through all these movies having sequels or reboots like 30 years later. And for a long time, I thought that was the best one. Doesn't mean it's the best movie ever made or anything, but like it did the best job of picking up the thread. I think the only one that beat it is Blade Runner. I think the Blade Runner sequel was better. But Blade Runner and Tron are the only two that didn't like make me go, kind of shake my head, like no matter how much I liked it or didn't like it. Star Wars and Indiana Jones and I can't remember the others. Terminator. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're all were parts there. I was like, and I like all the Terminator movies, but I like all the Rocky movies. It doesn't mean they're good, You
like 5?
5 is the worst one, but I've watched it like 3 times.
I've never finished 5 because I hated it and turned it off.
It is the worst one by far, but I've watched it a few times.
Okay, on the count of 3, tell me which Rocky movie you've watched the most.
4. Oh, sorry. Okay, now count to 3 and I'll tell you.
Mine's Rocky Balboa.
Rocky Balboa is my second favorite. I think
so. It goes 4 Balboa.
No. Rocky 4 I've watched the most. That doesn't mean it's my favorite.
Okay, let me guess your
TV
favorite.
All the time. What?
Let me guess your favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
2.
No.
1.
Yeah.
Okay.
1. How is it not 1?
Mine would probably go. See, this is another thing. I know Balboa isn't the best, but it's probably my favorite. Then
Balboa is my second favorite. I think that's fine. A fine choice to be the best because I think 1 was like a masterpiece, and then 2 through 5 got kind of progressively worse, and then Balboa was.
No, they didn't.
2 through 5 got progressively worse.
No. 4, I would argue, is better than 3.
4, I love, and I saw it the most. But 4 is like not even a boxing movie anymore. It's some sort of action movie where he's ending the Cold War by fighting a cyborg man. It makes no sense.
He's
It's
not
great.
cyborg. He's just on a lot of drugs.
I am, but I'm saying I love it. It's a great movie, but it's like all the rest kind of feel like boxing movies, and that one's like, what world are we in?
For everybody not in the know, I always forget that Gazbot and Arazuki love the Rocky movies as much as I do, and we never talk about it.
We should talk about it another time because we're getting way off track. Okay.
The people are here to know how we rank the
I've heard
Rocky
that.
movies.
I have heard that he had that cameo.
I did, yeah. I saw that too.
Are you saying Overdrive is your guilty pleasure, or are you suggesting that should be mine?
If that's your guilty pleasure, Jim, by all means, do you.
I mean, that's weird that you didn't even bring.
Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
But I guess it's just so ubiquitous. It's like, why even mention
Some
it?
would argue the world changed after you made that clip.
In what way?
The timeline fits. You made that clip in March 2020.
Right. And everybody started to realize how good Overdrive is? Is that what you're saying?
You kept everyone indoors with your... You took Pandora out of the box.
Jim, you're saying it should be mine. Overdrive, I was saying earlier, I haven't seen any of Mystic Force, and I haven't finished Overdrive. So the way I am, I can't really judge the things I've watched all of it. So whether I like or hate Overdrive, it can't be my guilty pleasure because I've only watched like maybe a third of it, if that. So that's what you get. That's with you getting off track. So I guess, again, I would rather have done this more methodically and think about it and stuff. But if I guess I have to pick my three, I'll just go Lightspeed, Dino Charge, and Samurai. But I feel like Dino Charge would probably be replaced by something else if I.
Yeah, I can't like Disney seasons for you. You either love them or meh them.
All the Disney seasons, yeah. Do I hate any Disney seasons?
You have
Not
two
yet.
NAs. You have 2 that are mehs, and then everything else you love.
Well, the meh would be Ninja Storm
And Dino Thunder.
Dino Thunder. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It is weird when I think how I liked Wild Force more than Dino Thunder, which I did not think.
Oh, that was easy for me.
Well, but a lot of it is I go into it with this expectation because like I kind of know all the teams and all the themes of the suits, like, but I don't know anything about them. I'm just like, okay, these are the dinosaurs, these are that, and so I have a lot of preconceived notions based on what I think it's going to be. And I knew Dino Thunder, I knew Tommy came back, and so like I'm like, oh, that season's going to be great, you know. Whereas Wild Force, I'm like, what is this? I'm like, oh, this was actually really good, you know. Like so, I when you watch them live, I think it's a lot easier to just like take what it is as it comes to you. But almost every season I went back and watched, I had some sort of preconceived notion about, and most of them were wrong, to be honest. Because again, like I thought I would not like Wild Force based on I don't like those suits. Those are some of my least favorite suits.
Yeah, the suits aren't great, but one of the best villain suits in all of Power Rangers.
Oh, Zanaku?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. But then similarly, Time Force, because of the suits, I thought it'd be my favorite of all time, and I like it, but it's not.
Yeah, it's funny because now that I think about it, Time Force had one of the best Ranger suits, some of the worst villain suits, in my opinion. And then Wild Force was kind of the opposite.
Because you didn't like Rancic's suit, or
It didn't do it for me.
I wouldn't say it's one of the best ever, but I thought it was perfectly serviceable. Part of it is because I like that actor because I'm a Mad Max fan. So when I saw he was in it, I'm like, wait, isn't that the guy from Mad Max?
He was
And then it
always mad all the time. He needed to blow off some steam.
What?
You don't remember? Oh,
I didn't hear what you said.
I said he was always mad all the time. He needed to blow off some steam.
Was that a line in the show?
It was from Commando.
Oh my God. Oh, he was in that too.
Blow
Yeah.
off some steam.
Yes, I forgot. Yes, he was in that, and he was in something else too. Oh, he's in Weird Science, but Mad Max. Well, actually, Mad Max 2: Road Warrior, to be precise. Mad Max is another franchise that I like. All those. Well, there's only 4, but I like all those movies.
I think I've only seen 3 of them. I haven't seen the third Mad Max.
Third one's the worst.
Is it Return to Thunderdome?
No, Beyond the Thunderdome is the third one. And
Road Warrior, Mad Max.
no,
Beyond.
Mad Max. The first one was just called Mad Max. The second was called Road Warrior.
Oh, I always thought it was reversed.
Now I'm doubting myself.
I think you're wrong.
I might. Well, yeah. I thought it was Mad Max then Road Warrior, but maybe it's flipped. But either way, Thunderdome is the third one. And Thunderdome is another one, kind of like Rocky IV, where I saw it all the time because it was just on cable or whatever.
Yeah.
And like Rocky IV, it felt like a totally different franchise. Like, and I still like it, but it's just like kind of crazy and doesn't
I'm
really.
the opposite. I saw either that one or Mad Max first.
Mhm.
And then I had to ask my dad at the beginning, I'm like, what's going on? Because it seems like I'm like partway through. He's like, oh, well, in the first one, blah, 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 blah. So I haven't seen Road Warrior then.
Okay. Yeah, the first one is not my favorite, actually. My favorite's the second one. Well, no, Fury Road actually might be my favorite. Fury Road's pretty awesome.
So here's the thing that, like,
this is really not talking about Power Rangers.
I know, really. The thing about
again, we didn't have an agenda set. This is why we rambled so much.
This is a ramble sesh in every sense of the word. To me, like, it's hard for me to compare those two movies because part of what makes Fury Road so good is the technology.
True. And the history, having like, oh, they're bringing it back. Yeah.
Yeah, like, to me, like, so much of what made it great, I'm like, there's no way they could have done that in 85. Like, they just physically couldn't do it.
We'll set that aside then. And from the first three, the second one is my favorite.
Yeah. I think there's only one movie that I wouldn't say is timeless, but the effects at the time are just good enough where it can stand toe-to-toe with movies today in a series.
Back to the Future?
T2.
Oh, yeah. I recently rewatched every Terminator movie, and yeah, one holds up the worst in terms of effect. I still think it's a good movie, like the way it's written and stuff. But yeah, those effects are like, ooh, that's terrible.
One thing, speaking of 80s movies that we both like, I don't think they're going to do it, but did you hear with the
Power Rangers Mad Max edition, that'd be RPM.
That would, pretty much. That's exactly what it is. Did you hear with the Thing prequel, like, why people don't like it as much?
Yes, I think we might have talked about. I never watched it. The Thing is one of my.
I have not either. I love The Thing though.
Yeah, and I didn't watch it. What and I think Fact Fiend Focus.
I think so. Yeah.
Which we both watched because he talked about how they made it to look and match that 80s aesthetic. And then and everybody was on board with that. And then the producers were like, this looks like it was made in the 80s. Put CGI over it. And so then they put CGI on top of
worse.
Yeah. And they were always going to use a little CGI. But yeah, so I haven't seen it. Here's what I want to happen. I want, how they have like despecialized Star Wars editions and like fan edits of certain things. I want somebody to find, because there is like raw footage you could find, like bad quality. Find that original stuff, clean it up, and make the movie using the practical effects shots. That's what I want to watch. But that being said, I haven't watched the movie, so I can't actually say if it's good or bad. We've been going for about 45 minutes. It's getting late over here for me. If anybody has a question in chat, throw it up. We're going to be wrapping up in a second here. Thanks for hanging out while we just ramble. I really thought we were just going to get on and say, hey, sorry about that. Anyway, talk to you next week or whatever. But, hey, whatever. We had a little hangout session or whatever.
Yeah. God, what was I going to say? Now I'm on, like, not Power Ranger wavelength. I ask this, like, at least once every 2 weeks. Where are you currently in the Ranger comics?
I have not read any Ranger comics since the last time we talked. So I am.
I don't even remember where you are. That's why I'm asking.
I finished Shattered Grid. I finished the one where I forget the name of it, where they go to the Solar Ranger storyline.
Beyond the Grid.
I finished that, and I'm like one issue past that.
Oh,
and
so you're like just starting Necessary Evil.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten into Necessary Evil, but I know that's what's starting. And I've read the Time Force graphic novel, and I've read Soul the Dragon, and I've read the Psychos.
How would you rank those three?
Soul the Dragon best, then Psychos, then Time Force.
Okay, we're agreed.
Yeah. Let's see. Jim, I will check RPM now. Thanks. Oh yeah, if you haven't seen RPM, that's like I said, that's one of the best ones. And
it's staggering, like how not Power Rangers it is while being Power Rangers.
I actually, going back to like my path of Power Ranger fandom, I always forget to mention this. There was a time when RPM was on currently, and I guess it was on Disney, but they rebroadcast on ABC or something. And I wasn't watching Power Rangers. I had stopped, and I wasn't into it. And just randomly, it was on one day, and I caught like part of one episode. And I remember talking to people afterward who like weren't fans, so they didn't know what I was talking about. And I was like, I caught this episode of Power Rangers, and it was crazy. They were in like this bubble city, and it was like the apocalypse, and like everybody was dead except for this one town. Like, do you know what's going on? I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not Power Rangers. No, it was Power Rangers, but it's like, and I remember being intrigued, but like then I forgot about it, and like, I didn't have friends who were fans to like encourage me more, and I just sort of forgot about it. But when I went back and watched it, I'm like, I was right. That's exactly what was happening. Like,
Yeah, I remember I caught like a YouTube compilation one time of like all of the morphs up till that time, and it either went to RPM or Samurai. And I remember like right past SPD, I was like, oh, I don't like these morphs as much anymore. Like whether or not I like the seasons, I don't love the RPM morphs. The only ones I like are Ziggy and
Dylan.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, they have
I
the
want to
cool
call him
morph.
Drake, and I don't know why.
Well, because you want to call him Mad Max now.
Yeah, exactly. He was though with that that Charger.
Oh yeah, it was great. Even Ziggy reminded me of the Gyro Captain, the Gyro. Wait, Gyro.
I know what you're talking about. I don't.
Gyrocopter Captain or whatever. You call it. Yeah. I gotta go. It's getting late for me. Thank you everybody for watching. Sorry Jason wasn't here. Again, we're rescheduling. Assume 2 weeks at the earliest, but it might be a little bit longer. Next week, we will not have any show whatsoever. I mean, if you're watching my channel, I might have like an art video go up, but there'll be no Power Ranger video.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for now. Hopefully everyone has a good weekend. If you like Star Wars, check out The Bad Batch if you can. I was pleasantly surprised as someone who's not a huge Clone Wars fan. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I don't know. Anything else?
If you are an adult that doesn't mind graphic cartoons, check out Invincible on Amazon Prime.
It is rated R, just to be clear, but it is
a hard R.
Yeah, it is a hard R. Don't watch that with kids or your parents or whatever.
I actually quick, and then I know you got to go. I was watching the finale with Mrs. Big Dog, and she had a very stressful week and day at work.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, I'm really tired, but like I know you want to watch the finale. Let's watch it." And without spoiling anything in the finale, 15 minutes in, we paused. She's like, "This is stressing me out, and I'm getting anxious." I'm like, "I think it'll get better. I don't know, but like I think you know what happens." It was a lot. It's a great show, though.
It is. I agree. It's also a comic that you can check out too. Which
yeah, great comic. But I have been the Big Dog. He has been
Gasbar.
And see ya, because this is a rambling. This is an episode. There's no power here.
Nah, there's a little bit of power. No credits though.